The agenda for this session is that we're going to do a traditional update of what's going on around integrations. We will do that segment, and that segment has a specific topic called ERP Launchpad, and that's why we are quite many on stage today. It's some new things that we will go through, and we also go back to the core product as such and reflect on other news that's in there. And we will also take a look at the roadmap ahead for this solution. So, the ERP Launchpad. We will go through a little bit of background, the reasoning behind this, the Implema partnership, which is very important for us. We will take a look at the solution and what it actually is doing, and of course we will open up a question. And after this, Erik will take over to go in a little bit more details around the core solution. So, background, what is TIFF? KDA just recently described it a little bit. It's a toolbox that's highly configurable. It's designed to extract and import data and files to 3D experience. Generic tool for integration to other enterprise systems. And we connect to any system. ERPs is the most common case, and that we will focus on today. But we have also done integrations towards numerous other types of enterprise systems. So, what are the challenges then that we face when we talk about connecting ERP to PLM? First one is cost and resources for doing implementations. These are complex tasks, and you need to pull out the best people you have around the PLM platform. You need to involve enterprise architects, and you need to invite system integrators, and it starts to get big. And our approach would be to simplify this, to have one partner with numerous skill sets. Of course, you need to be involved, but to keep that as a minimum. A standard solution, meaning that we will take responsibility for it, that it will work. And it also goes when you upgrade to a new 3D experience environment. There's a new information model there. Then we adjust this. Everything here is targeted towards out-of-the-box solutions. And that also goes for the ERP side. So when updates comes to that side, we will secure that it will work. Finally, we are getting in more and more requests around our support for cloud solutions. And we are here now. And that we will talk about a little bit later also. So we have still on-prem solutions, but we have also hybrids and pure cloud setups for this. So the concept of a launchpad is to have a good starting point when you do integrations. And as stated, everything is targeted towards out-of-the-box solutions. So we have added functionality to the 3D experience platform. We are doing configurations in the integration layer, and the also corresponding on the kind of remaining side, the other side of the integrations. And we will start with ERP. And TECHNIA is a Dassault house. We know this 3D experience platform very well. We know the integration framework. But on the ERP side, we are not the experts. So we need to find a good partner to take that side of the integration, because we would like to have this as an end-to-end integration where we take full support for it. So we took a look out in the market, and we find the perfect partner. It's called Implema, and that's why we have invited them upstage to show a little bit more about what Implema can do and what we are doing together. So by that, I would like to hand over to you.
Thank you very much. My name is Matthias, and as Anders said, I work as Implema as a business area manager for development and integrations. And Implema is a value-driven company. So it all started off with our 4 founders. They had an idea, and they wanted to get out on this suicide mission to actually get SAP into the small and medium-sized enterprises. And of course, the product wasn't, the product was ready for it, but the implementation model was not. So no one has tried it before. So what they did is that they sat down and they realized that the largest risk when implementing an ERP solution is time. So just with that in mind, they started off, okay, if we can get a very, very tight time schedule committed on top management level for these companies, and that we can push the deadline by the very, very extent, then we have a chance to get this to be an effective implementation at small and medium-sized enterprises. So they did try it, and they did achieve. So what happens when you set a very, very tight deadline and you get top management to commit on that is that people start to prioritize. So instead of investing money on arguing and debating, money is then spent on making decisions. So you don't get 100% coverage of your business demands and requirements, but you actually get live on time and budget, and that is for sure something that adds value. So the other challenge for Implema, which is a reseller of ERP systems, SAP and Dynamics, is, okay, our customer starts to grow, but how can we facilitate as a local partner on a global customer base? So it all started off in 2006, where some top-tier resellers like Implema from 6 different countries met up in Waldorf to discuss this matter. How can we do it, and how can we also challenge the big dragons? Because everyone has their favorite opponents, right? Implema, we like to really beat down on Accenture and Capgemini, but we couldn't do it on large projects. So then, but actually facilitating this back in 2006, they started to form a global network named United VARs. So together now we can go out and we can take on global projects, which we have now in over 20 countries on 5 continents. And it's still growing. So if you count the number of consultants, actually United VARs is one of the biggest enterprise system provider in the world, which we're of course very proud of. And of course that we were part of creating this is fancy. So what do we do together? What we found is that TECHNIA here is also a value-driven organization. They count on experience and we count on time. Of course, you can't deliver fast projects unless you have the best consultants, because this is not easy stuff. So what we do now is that we go in together and we form a cross-functional team. And we also, based on the experience, realize that we have a number of use cases that almost in every single project, they appear. And when I talk to customers, they often go out and tell me, well, Matthias, you know what? We have all these technical possibilities and things that we want to do, but we can't do it by ourselves. We need guidance here. So that's how we look upon this. This is actually a structured way of guiding you as customers, because all the use cases that we identified and created in these different platforms are based on experience, and we know that you're going to need them. So there are different integration models out there. So depending on the strategy that you guys have selected, there are different approaches. So you can have a point-to-point integration strategy, or you can actually consolidate your integrations in a middleware. But what we see now when we go out and talk to customers is that there's actually a third choice. So if you not look at yourself in the mirror each morning and think, I want to work with integration and that's my biggest mission in life, you might think that it should be someone else's responsibility. And we're actually there to pick up that challenge, because together we have the experience to do it, and we have the technology in order to host a cloud-based integration platform so that we can sell it as a service. And of course, you will not need to go with the upfront cost in order to buy a standardized middleware, because you can do it from us. We have flexible agreement time, and of course, we offer a full end-to-end solution. And with that said, Stefan?
Yes. Thank you, Matthias, as a partner. Thanks. Really nice to have you here. Yeah, now I had to try to explain this in the technical wise. A good integration is a thing that you shouldn't see as a user. then it works. If you see it, then you have problem almost all time. So what we have done here now is to try to gather what 80% of all our ERP integration projects is about. And what we have done here is to package that. We call it ERP Launchpad. It consists of configurations within the 3D Experience platform, in the TIFF, and new for TECHNIA, it's also on the SAP side. This is packaged, bundled, and as a project together with Implema. We have taken out some, say, standard use cases that we always do in different ways. And as you know, there is no standard way of setting up, even though everybody talks about out of the box. It could be lots of things in that box. And here is more methods, tools, what we can reuse for any kind of information that will be in this. Of course, this is the most common ones that we are utilizing here. And this will evolve. I get requests during the coffee breaks here. Can you do that? Can you do that? Yeah, the methodology is in here, and it will grow, but we will not become a monster that is precise, because the world is moving. As you see here, we have already 3 different ways of integrating. For those who doesn't use SAP, this is 3 different ways of doing it. Cloud, it's to the SAP version of TIFF, called PO, and so on. So, and this is similar to other ERP systems as well. They have their own way of doing things. We're also offering a service package for doing this, to get started, because normally this is a 3-4 parties integration work, where you try to align different companies to do this. And in the middle, you as a customer is. Now we're trying to package this as a total package of making this in your entities. And 15 days seems challenging. That is, say, the basic to get the all 3 different entities in. And then, of course, there's needs of specific configurations. So, to finalize this, what are we doing? What are we trying to say here? Anders, you talked about starter kit. Yes, this is a template to start, to get a very quick implementation done. Package of services, that means that we align. You have one speaking partner. We're taking a bit bigger risk, but we also take a bit bigger commitment of doing a complete system for you. And then partnership here. We need experts on this side. We cannot learn the both sides, come from different regions. So we feel very strong with Implema as a partner, and that is what we're introducing today. So this is brand new.
So my name is Erik Wikström. I will do a recap of what we have done in the TIFF product during the last year. I will also say a few words about the near future for the TIFF product. One big thing that we have done is a completely new administration UI.
I think you will fix
it. I will. Yes, so completely new administration UI with a lot of new functionalities, such as the possibility to doing drill downs in the charts to find problems easier. It's also have a lot of improved ways to filter out your data. And among others, we have improved the usability and the performance in the administration UI. It is also possible to get some better insight in the queues and the jobs that lives inside the 3D Experience database, so that you can monitor these also from the Integration Framework administration UI. And the last major thing is support for Elasticsearch Release 7. Along with this new administration UI, there is a REST API that also can be used by you as customers and integrate to TIFF. It could be if you have some need for doing something in TIFF, like launching some scheduled jobs or things like that, then you can use our REST API. Another major feature within the administration UI is this configuration editor. This one allows you to, from the web UI, work with the configurations. You can add and modify your configurations, and also some special configurations in TIFF have a quite complex setup in the background. For example, you have to connect to some other system like IBM MQ or some other message broker. So there is some background features that allows you to hot deploy these kind of configurations. So creating new configurations will tear up these services, and if you modify them, they will be restarted for you. Some other highlights. We have enhanced support for LDAP, meaning that you can have web services, for example, that allows you to authenticate the remote user against Active Directory, for example. So you could have some limitations on some of your web services that only lets people with certain roles use this web service. But then, of course, you can run the integration use case in 3D Experience as some dedicated Innovia user. We have also improved support for specifying security context. You can run integration use cases with either specific security context or some default context. Another big thing is better support for XML data that is bound to different XML namespaces. A larger company typically have very complex XML data, and it has been quite difficult to work with such XML and construct traversing expressions in TIFF earlier. So we have added some support for simplifying this. All right, that was what we have done. If we look into the near future with the TIFF, we have some ideas how we can take this configuration tool into the next level. Not only having the possibility to edit, create, manage your configurations, you should also be able to get some good visual feedback when you create these, and also being able to test them easily. Run configurations directly from the administration UI and see the result, and by so shorten the development time. And also exporting configurations from one environment into another. Also support for having different kind of users in the administration UI. For example, some administrators should only be able to view and monitor and see that things are behaving okay, while some others have more privileged access to the system. Also, we will continue with this master aggregated administration if in case there are some customers that uses multiple TIFF instances, and this would allow them to administrate all of these from one UI only. Another thing that we are looking into is to provide, similar to this ERP Launchpad, some kind of Launchpad set up for integration to Atlassian products like JIRA Studio, in order to, for example, transfer information about software versions, release dates, and perhaps even issues back and forth. And the last thing is something for developers. TIFF Gradle plugin. This is something we use internally at TECHNIA. We have tools that simplifies development with TIFF. This allows you to set up projects fast and easy and using a harmonized structure. We have been using this for almost a year now, and now it's time to make this available also for our customers. So this will also happen quite soon.